I'm Mary and here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Rosh Hashanah recipe video. This is actually a very traditional Jewish recipe for Shabbat, but can definitely be used for Rosh Hashanah and any of the holidays, and I'll explain a little bit about why as I'm making it. But this is like one of those all-time classic, very Jewish, very like Yiddish kind of recipe. So I'm excited to jump in. This is how to make cholent. Let's get started. Shana Tova, Happy New Year everyone. I hope that you're having fun planning some new recipes or menu ideas in your home to celebrate the new year. If you want any of mine, I'll link all my Rosh Hashanah videos down below. I have round challah, I have lots of chicken Shabbat recipes, and I have my favorite honey cake. Okay, so cholent, let's get started. So the reason that this is one of those classic Jewish dishes is because on Shabbat or on a high holiday, it's traditional not to cook. So you kind of prepare the food beforehand and then just keep it warm. So this is a slow cooker meal. You could also just use a Dutch oven like I have back there. Keep it on a warming plate or in your oven, you know, just kind of set it on low type of thing. I like to use the crock pot for it, or the slow cooker. It's also a very traditional Jewish dish because, you know, back in the olden days of Europe, it was a very inexpensive way to feed a lot of people, and the recipe can really shrink and grow and adjust, use all different kinds of ingredients. But this is a very basic recipe. This one is actually from my friend Devorah. I will link her stuff below. She's very sweet. We did on Instagram Live together, and now I'm gonna make it for you. So here is everything you need. First, you need a cut of meat. You can do this vegetarian and just leave this out. Probably for every ingredient, I'm gonna be like, you don't need this, but but you don't need the meat, but it is definitely a highlight. You wanna use a stew meat or something that can really withstand the long, slow cooking. By the way, if I'm out of breath, I'm like, I think 8 months pregnant at this point, so that is why. Potatoes is another staple of the dish. Okay, then normally you would use barley in this as your other like big grain starch. I like bulgur wheat. It's just a personal preference, but any type of like strong grain like that, like a barley, is great. And then you want some beans. I've got kidney beans. You can also sometimes find what's called cholent mix, which is just a mix of different beans. Again, just hearty, stands up to all the cooking. And then one of the really cool things about this dish is you actually put in whole eggs, and they come out like amazing. That's like one of my favorite parts, is the eggs inside. And then for flavor, the reason I call this a Rosh Hashanah recipe is because it uses honey. This is my little honey jar. And then we have salt, pepper, paprika, Montreal steak. Obviously this is not from Europe 200 years ago, but you know, people adapt and make their own edits on the recipe. Garlic powder, onion, and ketchup. So that's it. Let's get started. It's basically just a chop, dump it all in, and you're good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna get started by dicing my onion. By the way, if you've ever been to a synagogue on Shabbat, a more traditional one or more like Orthodox one, cholent is one of those dishes that will usually be served like at a Chabad or something. There's very often cholent Saturday morning after the after services. Okay, so my onion is diced, and now I'm gonna move on to my potatoes, and I'm just gonna chop up, oh, the onion's making me cry, about 6 potatoes. You can definitely peel them. I talked about this when I did this recipe on Instagram. I have not peeled a potato, I want to say in my life, but that's not true. I definitely like peeled them for my mom for recipes when I was little, but I personally, oh my god, the tears from the onion. I personally never ever peel potatoes. I find that I like the taste of the skin, like it doesn't bother me. Apparently it's also got like good nutrients in it that might be counteracted if you don't buy organic by the soils. But so it goes. I am not a potato peeler. Oh my god, that's the strongest onion I have ever chopped. Oh my goodness. All right, let me finish chopping these potatoes. I'll get back to you. Okay, so my potato and onion are chopped. I'm just gonna really just dump it in the slow cooker. And you don't have to worry about like how things go in or exact quantities. Again, this is such like a traditional, flexible, like 1,000, you know, not 1,000, but you know, so many generations of people have been making this kind of recipe and adjusting it for what their family specifically likes, that kind of thing. So feel free to put your own spin and flavor on it. Okay, so I dumped in the potato and the onion, and now I'm just gonna put in the meat. I got 2, I don't even know, they're probably like pound and a half. Again, it's really just like how much meat you want to put in, what your family likes, what you can afford, that sort of thing. Okay, next up is the beans and the barley. It's about 1.5 cups of each. By the way, I will definitely leave the exact recipe down below if you want to follow it more exactly. And the other thing I was going to say is while you're down there checking out the recipe, don't forget to hit subscribe to this channel, especially if you like traditional Jewish recipes, seeing how me and my family celebrate the holidays. That's what my channel is all about. I talk about Judaism, motherhood, and all things like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do about 1.5 cups of the bulgur wheat, just like we did the beans. And after that, it's just time to flavor. Okay, so first up is salt. I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons. This is a tablespoon, but again, I'm not measuring too closely, of salt. Then I've got 1 teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. I'm actually running out. Hopefully I'll get about 1 tablespoon from this. And then a teaspoon of the Montreal seasoning mix. And then last up, you're going to do 3 tablespoons of ketchup and 1 tablespoon of honey. Don't ask me how I know that was 3 tablespoons. I'm just eyeballing. Okay, now the honey. So something that's interesting about this dish is it does have a sweetness to it. It's kind of like that interesting flavoring of savory and sweet, salty and sweet together. It's really good. Okay, next up, I'm just gonna fill the crock pot to cover everything with just water. I'm gonna cover everything with water, and this is a recipe that traditionally will cook overnight, or you could do like all day long. If when you're getting ready to serve it, or if when you check it, it's looking dry, all you have to do is add more water and mix it together again. Okay, so everything is completely covered. I'll bring the camera in and show you. But the last thing I'm going to do before I start the cooking is actually add the eggs. And all you have to do is take raw eggs and you put it in. When this is done cooking, it's basically like boiled the eggs. They turn brown and they are the most delicious things. So you take them out, rinse them and peel them, and then put them back in when you actually eat it. Okay, so I did 5 eggs. I could probably fit a 6th one in there, but I think it's good. I'm gonna come take the camera and show you guys, and then I'll come back either tomorrow or the next day to show you guys how it turned out. Good morning, guys. So it's very early the next morning. My kids aren't even awake yet, but I wanted you guys to see the cholent. I wish you could smell it because I know it's not the most beautiful dish. I mean, it's a stew, so that's what it looks like, but it smells so good. I actually tried it last night. Pretty much everything was like cooked and delicious. Me and my husband actually had it for dinner, except the kidney beans were like not all the way smooth yet. Sometimes when I make this recipe, I use canned kidney beans, and then you can eat it like a little bit more quickly. But now everything is like totally cooked. So again, I know it's not the most beautiful dish, but so pretty. I mean, so pretty. So delicious. I'm actually gonna plate it up take some pictures for you guys and Instagram so you can see what she might look like in her best light. But it's so good. The meat is so tender and flavorful. Everything else is just so like, seeing that like winter type of food that just fills you up, makes you feel good, like that comfort food kind of thing. That's what it is. So if you guys make this for Rosh Hashanah or any other time of the year, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm wishing you a Shana Tova, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.